Now, all well thought signature trades have four phases of focus. We have the before entry phase, we have the entry phase, we have the reversal phase, and the take profit phase. Now, in before entry phase, this is where we do our analysis. And it's not a simple thing to correctly predict the next move in any market. And trading the FX market can be even trickier because we are basically looking at chart patterns, and it's not like we are sure if indicators would interact effectively with what price is telling. So it's trickier than trading any other markets, than trading the stock markets where there are order books. So it goes beyond the wild guesses, intuition, and rash decisions, and analyzing price charts, forecasting future price movements, and choosing the most suitable currency pair to trade, that is using the disparity, is obviously crucial to long-term success of any trader. So as MQP traders, we have taken one step further and we have considered every possible factor which has the tendency to affect the FX rates. That's why you see that we have learned a lot of factors that can affect the market. So here is where we come to combine it. So what do we look for when we are doing analysis? Basically, we look for higher time frame manipulation. In the monthly and weekly time frame, we look for the market structure, and then we come back to the market flow, where in the daily and hour 4 is where we look for the market flow. And we look if there is a seasonal consolidation, if there is a seasonal shift, and so and so. We also consider the position of exponential moving averages, especially the ones with higher periods, based on higher time frames. And we come back to the alpha, where we also look on the harmonic patterns. If they're there, we look on the TDI. What is the TDI telling us? And then we come to the market maker cycle on the hour one. And on the hour one is where we predict the next move, is where we anticipate the next move. So, so let's go to the charts. And have analysis. So we have USDMXN right there. So for exotic pairs like USDMXN, USDZAR, we use the template SPV exotic template. And for other pairs, we use SPV template with quarters. So let's go to the monthly time frame. So this is the monthly time frame for USDMXN. So here we basically look at support and resistance. We had an order block right there. See, we had an order block right on this area of support. And you can see on this order block, USDMXN formed a W here. So it formed an area of support on this order block. So it, on the weekly, it's even bigger. And you can see our next target should be this area here of resistance. So this will be our next target. And if at all price bounces around this area and reverse, then we would have a bearish market structure. But for now, we are having a bullish market structure. Now, this is the daily time frame. And on the daily, you can see that after this peak, we had level 1, level 2, level 3, and then we had a reversal there. And it moved like 2 levels and it made these EMAs. And you can see right now, we're up the first level going up. So basically the bounce around this is a reversal. So on the R4, I think the TDI will be, we had our peak here. You can see how the consolidation was. Even the TDI had a shark fin there and price started moving. And we had a good move going up. And let's look if at all the market maker cycle is it's over. So our peak formation low was this one. And from there, we had our first level. And our ADR is around 1762, 1842, so around 1800. So around there, that's our first ADR. Our second ADR, and we would have our third ADR. Okay, so we have our 3 times ADR right there. So price is going to complete this. And then we would have our peak formation high. And the market structure is showing that we are having a bullish trend. So we should expect for price to come and form a peak reset. So around the 200 EMA. And if the EMA will be moving, I think this will be the best area for a peak reset, this area here. If at all the 200 EMA would move, you'll find the peak reset there. So peak reset, and then we go up. Let's analyze gold. So this is the monthly for gold. If you look at gold prices, you would find that gold is making new all-time highs, like all the time. See, the market structure is always bullish, and you will find that price is only retracing, continue up, retracing, continue up. And here we had a very big retracement. And you can see right now we're having a support there. And the weekly, I think it will be a good one. So in the weekly, it formed a support here. We had a move up, came again to that area of support. And we have this as an area of resistance right here. And it came back to this point. We had our retracement. There an order block on the daily here. You can see we have an order block here, and right there is where price bounced.
Okay.
So if you look at this, we had our support area here. Price moved up, we had our retracement coming back to this area of support. Price moved up, but then it created a resistance. And with this resistance, price is now moving down. As you can see on the daily, it bounced on the order block. And from this point, if you look at this area, we had 1, 2, 3. We had 1, 2, 3. And now we should expect 1, 2, 3. Coming to this point again of support. And I think for if it will come to this area, it will break to find the CMA. This area of support is been tested many times. So we should expect for price to come to bounce 200 EMA and then continue up. So right now, we are bearish, huh? You can see we had our peak, formation high. If you look at this, we had our reset here and price moved 3 levels up. And I expected for this to be another reset and price to move up 3 levels because of the bullish nature of gold there. So our ADR is around 220. Okay, 3 times ADR. So price, if price will come to retest this area, then that's a sell for us. Okay, so this is EuroCAD monthly time frame. So let's put a line chart there and see where exactly price reversed. So our current price level is this one. So the support and resistance points that are close to it, we have that. Is a zone at this point also. We have a zone. So this is a zone right there. Our next area of support is down here. And we have another resistance right there. Let's look on order blocks. So you can see right here we have this order block, which was retested by this. Then we had a continuation up. And I don't think this will retest this order block. I think this will come to this price level. So my anticipation is that the market structure is still bearish. To break this low, find this area of support. And on the weekly, it's also still bearish. Let's put. So we're also looking at a bearish move coming to this point. If you look at how price broke this high, you would see there was a very strong move going up, and then after breaking this high, so where price started reversing. So I'm thinking that price will come to break this low, and from there is where we should be expecting for price to reverse direction. So on the daily, we had our peak around the 800 EMA. We had our first level, and we had our very long-term second level here. You can see we had a stiff consolidation. I was expecting for price to come maybe at this point or this point here and reverse, but then the euros had this move on Friday.
Okay.
And so this here is our peak. So we're having this area here as our peak reset. Right now, I should expect for price to come and retest this, where there is the half point there also. Then to continue down. My first retest will be this one. If it breaks this, then second retest is around this area. So it's Monday false move for today, yeah. So if someone would buy, he would profit out of this. You would see price coming to retest the blue tracer and going up, and then we should have a downtrend from there. So GBP USD, weekly time frame, monthly time frame. So monthly time frame, price level is this one, and we're having that area as a zone, and here we had a head and shoulder pattern. Okay, so you can see from this area, price bounced on this area of resistance, and we had a downtrend to this area of support. So the zone right here, and we had EMAs, and you can see this is how the candle closed for the month of October. So let's look on the weekly and see how the weekly candles closed. The weekly candles still suggest we should be having a downtrend. Although price bounced at this point, see, this bounce is not that significant. If price bounced at this area here, it will be significant. Even though the daily, I think the 800 EMA is below there. Yes. And right here on the daily, this was the peak. If you look at this, there was a peak, and we had this move, but then the dealer formed another peak here. We had the first level, the second level, and he did not go for the third level. He came back up for a stop hunt. Like we had 1, 2, 3, and right here we're having a peak. So I'm expecting for price to drop to find this area. Okay. So the harmonic pattern here suggests a stop and high drop, simply because we are still on a downtrend. So ADR is 76. Or 80. So I've completed 2 ADR. Now going for a third. So my first area of retest will be this one. I don't think if price would reach this area. Although a bounce on this, this is the station zone. A bounce on this station zone, it can come back to the undershoot area where there's these 2 AMAs, or it can go all the way to the quarter here. So we have these 2 areas to look at. So if price reaches here, we first look for a pattern. If it does not occur, then our next target should be the quarter.
Okay.
So that's how we basically do the technical analysis, okay?
Yes.
So after doing your analysis, now you come to the entry phase. So the entry phase is where we look at the 15 minutes manipulation. And here now we are coming to the 15 minutes chart. We are looking at the period setup first. So we first look at the Asian box. Is it less than 50 pips? Do we have a very good consolidation? We look at the stop hunt. Is the stop hunt the way we anticipated? Like, is it a stop hunt high? And if at all the stop hunt is completed, then we look at the London pattern that has presented itself. We wait for our entry confirmation, 5 and 13 crossover. And the timing is usually during London session or New York session. So from after the session changeover to New York session, okay? Always trade in line with the peak. If the peak is high, look for sells. If the peak is low, look for buys. Always use a stop loss. I usually use 30 pips to sell. So the trades that we learned, we had, this is a peak trade around the blue tracer. Then we had a move up. We have an ID 50 trade. So after 13 and 50 crossover, price moved. And then we had our retest to the 50 EMA. So around the peak formation high. So this is an ID 50 trade. We have a safety trade right here. Stop and high, drop. And here we have a blueberry trade, break and a retest. And this retest was around the Asian range, so we wouldn't have taken this. Huh? We have a combo trade here. And this is the 800 EMA, and it's where they did from the peak reset right there. So 1, 2, 3. So a 3 days consolidation and then it moved. And we had a peak reset here also. This is Euro JPY as it was trending up. And here we have another trade where we had a bullish order block, and then price came and retested it, formed even a W. So this was a return to the order block, and then we had a move up. We had also a return to the bearish order block there, and we had a move down. Here we had a breaker block. If you look, we had this high, price came and break it, and then we had a retest there, and price moved down.
Nice.
Even here we had a retest on this area here, and then price moved down. And this was LSP, last broken trade. A retest on this other block, and then we had our move down. So we have other entries where we have the station zone entries, a break and a retest around the station zone, large quarter points, so a break and a retest on this large quarter points, a break and a retest of this half points, the equilibrium and the equilibrium, the premium, and the discount market entries. So these entries are usually supported with other conferences, since we are looking at indicators here, and we are not really sure if price will interact effectively with the indicators unless other conferences are viable. So you need to be in line with the market maker trend in order for you to trade better. And after taking your trade, now we have the reversal phase. On the reversal phase here, we are looking at how to identify fake reversals and real reversals. So on the reversal phase, you see that market makers may take a reversal, shake your emotion to get you out of a good trade. You would see after taking your trade and you are a day trader, then you should expect for price to move 3 intraday levels. But then price only moved 1 intraday levels, and it having a very stiff reversal, a retracement, I mean. You would see the retracement is very big, and your emotions are shaked, you are out of a good trade. But then you should trust the process and wait for the 3 intraday levels to complete, unless you have like other conferences around that may support that that might be a real reversal. Then you should not scratch at a trade. Now, for example, maybe you have taken a buy on GBP USD, and you see that price only moved up 1 intraday level, and you are having a retracement, but it's hard. I mean, it's like a big retracement coming down, and the momentum is good. And then when you look at other dollar pairs, maybe Euro USD is already falling, and maybe NZD USD and AUD USD, then those the disparity there would alert you that this now can be a reversal. If you look on the pound index, on the dollar index, and you find maybe the dollar index is moving up and it's having it's moving up, and you are on buy on GBP USD, then you are in a totally wrong direction. So you should scratch at your trade. So those would depict that this is a real reversal. But then you see that price has moved 3 intraday levels, and you see price forming like patterns to reverse. And you know that after 3 intraday levels, price will come to rest, then that is a real reversal. So there you need to take out scratch out your trades. And we have the take profit phase. Always have your target exit strategy. So the common take profit levels that I use are the ADR levels and the blue tracer sometimes on these pairs like gold or USDR, USDMXN. We have the quarter prices. I normally use the quarter prices a lot, and even the exponential moving averages. Suppose I expect for price to retest maybe the 800 EMA for peak reset, then my target for that, for that entry will be the 800 EMA, the blueberry. So also TP depends on the area of entry. Suppose someone after an M pattern has formed, someone has entered earlier, and you have entered maybe 10 pips below him or 7 pips below him, then his target for 50 pips will be your target for maybe 43 pips. So the area of entry should also affect your target TP. Okay, if you have taken a pick trade, so if I told you have mastered pick trades and you've taken a pick trade, you can swing it 3 levels. And usually when you're swinging, you can trail your stops. Like we have in a peak formation low and price has moved up. So I wait for the first level to complete a retracement. And when the second level is moving, that's where I move my stop loss above here. So that's where I break even my trade, and then I wait for the 3 levels to complete. So scratch out rules applied, and they've talked of the scratch out rules on the reversal. So if at all you see that there are confluences depicting that price would reverse, then you can scratch out your trade.
Okay.
So you should spend your time on the 4 phases of focus. Always spend your time on them on any trade that you take. And you would find many traders are spending their times only on the entry rules of a trade. Like someone would see my chart and come ask, how did I enter the trade? So what were my criteria for entering that trade? So if at all I give him only the entry rules, then the information will not suffice for to understand why I took that trade. See, there's the before entry phase, which he does not know about it, and that is the one that affected my my decision to take that entry. So, any question from today?
No, I don't have any question. Oh, with adjustment to the Light Forex platform, mine keeps on breaking, and I don't know what's happening. Does it give you